Hi everyone and welcome back to today's morning reports on Monday the 13th of June with me, Richard Berry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. Let's look at Eurodollar now, and we've had this selling pressure coming through the Eurodollar. Big change of outlook actually on the near-term basis with this bearish engulfing candle that was actually confirmed quite strongly to the downside on Friday with another big bear candle. You've now got the sell signal given on the stochastics. You've also got the MACD lines turning over. I think this is sort of pointing towards downside pressure now potentially, because you have had a really, if you take a step back and look at euro dollar over the past sort of 3 or 4 months, it's so choppy, isn't it? Just consistently just turning around and around and not really sort of giving you much of a trend, and I think that is going to continue to play out really in the coming months ahead. Now this sort of trend changing event that we saw on Thursday, this big bearish engulfing pattern, sort of now puts the pressure back on the downside again. You've got to pivot at 12.15, which is, I believe, your key near-term pivot, because it's caught the lows of April, reaction highs in May and early June, and I think that sort of turns around as the key level near-term. So today's low 12.30. 15 ticks away from that pivot, isn't it? But the outlook is certainly flipped around once again, and it's just in keeping, as I said, with what I see as sort of changing views on the dollar in the coming months. Now we've seen the rally in the last few days on the safe haven flows, but I don't necessarily think it's sustainable because bond yields continue to fall away, and that isn't an environment that would suggest that the dollar is going to strengthen. But it's very interesting nonetheless. So I think this is a near-term turnaround, and you sort of would pay respect to this move that we've seen. Near term, you'd say that the momentum indicators have just unwound really with an early morning rally, because you're about 10 ticks higher on Eurodollar now, having seen that 12.30 low early on. And there is a minor pivot around 12.80. Which was sort of coincided with 12.90, 12.80, which is around about where this sort of pivot from these old lows came in, and sort of finding support on Friday, and to a certain extent is resistance now. So I think that is a level to look at near term, 12.80, and beyond that 13.20. Above that is another key level. So I think generally we're seeing pretty choppy moves on Eurodollar. No real sort of trend direction. Yes, it's fallen away, but is it beginning to already sort of run out of steam on that move? Because you're seeing arguably slight divergences, or slight divergence on the hourly RSI. Although I think it's more the fact that it's a choppy sort of time at the moment. I mean, obviously coming in front of the Fed, markets are going to be really concerned as to exactly how much dollar strength it wants to play into, with the Fed possibly going to go down another dovish hint in the dot plots, and maybe the outlook for inflation and growth. Certainly, given the moves on bond yields, that would suggest the bond markets are thinking some sort of dovish shift. So it is going to be increasingly interesting in the next couple of days ahead of this Fed meeting. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading, and I will speak to you soon.